The massive vessel emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Oort cloud, its crystalline hull refracting the distant sunlight. First observer Nixis watched Earth's blue sphere through the ship's quantum imaging array, her iridescent scales shifting with concern. Another observation cycle complete, her second-in-command noted. The humans remain unaware of our presence, as they have for the past century. Nixis wasn't so certain. Over decades of watching humanity, something had always felt off. Their technological progression followed unusual patterns. Breakthroughs in seemingly random fields, followed by long periods of apparent stagnation. Their entertainment media obsessed over alien contact scenarios. Yet their space program appeared primitive. "Run a deep scan of the asteroid belt," she ordered suddenly. "Something's been bothering me about the mining operations we observed last cycle." The scan took hours. When the results came in, Nixis's scales paled to pure white. The asteroids weren't being mined. They were being hollowed out and fitted with drives and weapon mounts. Humanity had turned their entire solar system into an armed camp. "Impossible," her second breathed. "Their observed technology level is a lie." Nixis finished. "Sound general quarters. Begin emergency transit procedures." But it was too late. Across Earth's surface, massive doors ground open in mountain ranges and desert floors. Launch platforms rose from the oceans, and in high orbit, thousands of previously cloaked warships shimmered into view. "This is Admiral Chen of the United Earth Defense Force," came the transmission. "We've known about your observation posts for 50 years. You've been watching us. But we've been watching you too. And we've been preparing." The quantum arrays showed more ships appearing. From behind moons, within gas-giant atmospheres, emerging from hollowed-out asteroids. Earth's solar system had been transformed into a fortress, with humanity's hidden fleets finally revealing themselves. "Your collective has conquered 15 species in the past century alone," Admiral Chen continued. "We've monitored it all. Each time, you observe, you invade, you subjugate. But humanity will not be conquered." Nixis watched in awe as the human ships demonstrated impossible technologies. Artificial gravity manipulation, controlled quantum tunneling, even localized time dilation fields. They had masked their true capabilities behind a carefully crafted facade of primitive technology. "We could have struck preemptively," the Admiral said. "But that's not our way. This is your only warning. Leave our space. Tell your collective that humanity is not prey. We've spent centuries preparing for this moment while you thought you were studying primitives. Don't make us demonstrate why." As her crew scrambled to compute an emergency jump solution, Nixis realized the humans had achieved something unprecedented. They had hidden their true nature from the collective's vaunted observation networks for generations. The implications were staggering. "Admiral," she transmitted, "you understand this changes everything. The collective will not ignore this." "We're counting on it," came the reply. "Humanity is ready to take its place among the stars, but as equals, not subjects. The choice of how that happens is yours." The observer ship folded into hyperspace, leaving behind a solar system bristling with weapons and ships that shouldn't exist. Humanity had just announced itself to the galaxy, not as primitive victims, but as a force to be reckoned with. In her command center deep beneath the Himalayas, Admiral Chen watched the alien ship vanish. "They'll be back," she said to her staff. "Probably with an invasion fleet." "Good," her XO replied. "Let's show them what else we've been hiding." The warning had been delivered. Now humanity would demonstrate why they had spent centuries preparing in secret, building technologies and weapons that the collective had never imagined. The galaxy was about to learn that underestimating humanity was a fatal mistake. High Admiral Kexery of the Collective Expeditionary Force stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the tactical display with all four eyes. 5,000 warships hung in formation around him, the largest fleet assembled in the past millennium. Their target, the upstart humans who had dared to threaten the collective's dominion. Final reports from scout vessels confirm no significant changes in human defensive positions, his tactical officer reported. Their fleet remains concentrated around their homeworld. Kexri's tentacles writhed in anticipation. The humans' previous display of force had been impressive, but surely they couldn't stand against the full might of the collective. No single species ever had. Begin the attack sequence, he ordered. Standard conquest formation. The massive fleet surged forward, weapons charging. But as they crossed the orbit of Neptune, something strange happened. Space itself seemed to twist. "Sir," his science officer called out in alarm, detecting massive quantum field fluctuations throughout the system. The humans had been busy in the month since their warning. Throughout the solar system, thousands of quantum entanglement nodes activated simultaneously, creating a vast web of interconnected spatial distortions. The collective fleet had just flown straight into humanity's trap. Evasive action. Kexri bellowed, but it was too late. Ships began disappearing as localized space-time anomalies tore them apart. Others found their weapons fire reflected back at them through quantum mirrors, their own destructive energy turned against them. From her command center, Admiral Chen watched the chaos unfold. "Activate Phase 2, she ordered calmly. Across the asteroid belt, hundreds of hollowed-out rocks suddenly revealed their true nature. Mass drivers, powered by antimatter reactors, began accelerating chunks of dense metal to relativistic speeds. The collected ships, their shields designed to stop energy weapons and missiles, had no defense against kinetic strikes moving at appreciable fractions of light speed. Impossible. Kexri raged as another squadron vanished in atomic fire. Their technology. They shouldn't be capable of this. That was when the human fleet finally moved. But instead of conventional ships, they deployed swarms of autonomous drones, each barely larger than a fighter. The drones carried no weapons. Instead, they generated localized time dilation fields, trapping collective ships in bubbles where time passed thousands of times slower than normal. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, voice shaking, "we've lost 40% of the fleet. Our weapons are ineffective against their defensive systems." The humans had turned physics itself into a weapon. Every principle of space-time that the collective understood was being used against them in ways they had never imagined possible. In the Himalayan Command Center, Admiral Chen received a priority message. "Ma'am, we're detecting power spikes from the remaining enemy ships. They appear to be preparing for a mass retreat." "Let them go," Chen ordered. "They need to report what they've seen here today." As the surviving collective ships flowed into hyperspace, Kexri realized with growing horror that the humans hadn't just defeated them. They had revolutionized warfare itself. His report to the Collective Council would shake the foundations of their society. The first true battle between humanity and the collective was over. Of the 5,000 ships that had entered the solar system, less than 3,000 escaped, and humanity had yet to reveal all of their capabilities. "Send word to all commands," Admiral Chen instructed. "Begin deployment of the Phase 3 systems. The real war is about to begin." In the depths of space, the retreating collective fleet carried with them a message that would echo across the galaxy. Humanity wasn't just ready for war. They had spent centuries preparing to fight in ways that defied imagination. And they were just getting started. The research facility beneath Antarctica hummed with activity as Dr. Sarah Martinez studied the captured collective technology. 3 months had passed since the first major battle, and humanity's scientists had been working around the clock to understand their adversaries' capabilities. "They're adapting faster than we anticipated," she reported to the holographic images of Earth's Defense Council. "The collective's latest attacks show they're already developing countermeasures to our quantum web defense network." Admiral Chen's hologram nodded grimly. "We expected this. The collective hasn't survived for millennia by being slow learners. What's our response?" Sarah gestured, and a complex molecular diagram appeared in the center of the room. "We've reverse-engineered their shield technology, but more importantly, We'd found its fundamental flaw. They never considered using quantum entanglement at the molecular level. Across Earth's hidden facilities, new weapons were already being manufactured. Humanity had spent centuries developing technologies in secret, but their greatest strength wasn't their pre-planned defenses. It was their ability to innovate and adapt at unprecedented speeds. The collective learned this lesson the hard way during their next major offensive. Their ships, now equipped with anti-quantum field generators, pushed deep into the solar system. But humanity had already moved beyond quantum warfare. Multiple collective battle groups approaching Mars, reported Captain James Chen, Admiral Chen's son, from his command post on Phobos. Their new shielding is holding against our quantum weapons. Deploy the Symphony Protocol, his mother ordered. The collective ships never saw the attack coming. Microscopic machines, billions of them, had been seeded throughout the solar system. Each one contained a quantum-entangled particle linked to a central control system. When activated, they began vibrating in perfect harmony, creating waves of destructive resonance that bypassed shields entirely. High Commander Zixtal watched in horror as his ships began shaking themselves apart. How? He demanded. How do they keep developing new weapons so quickly? The answer lay in humanity's unique history. While the collective had evolved through careful, methodical advancement, humans had developed through constant competition and adaptation. Their entire civilization was built on the principle of rapid innovation. In her Antarctic lab, Dr. Martinez was already working on the next breakthrough. The collective thinks linearly, she explained to her team. They develop a technology, perfect it over centuries, then move on. We develop technologies in parallel, combining them in ways they've never imagined. The collective's response to the Symphony Protocol was to develop phase-shifted hulls that could avoid resonance effects. Humanity countered with temporal fracture bombs that split ships across multiple timelines. The collective created time-anchored shields. Humanity developed weapons that attack through higher dimensions. They're not just fighting us with technology, reported a collective analyst to their High Council. They're fighting us with ideas. Every time we develop a defense, they don't just overcome it, they make it obsolete. Admiral Chen stood in the lunar observation post, watching Earth rotate below. Send the message to all commands, she ordered. Begin Phase 4 deployment. It's time to show them why humans are different from every species they've ever encountered. In deep space, collective scientists detected strange readings from human space. Energy patterns they'd never seen before, radiation that shouldn't exist, and quantum signatures that defied their understanding of physics. Humanity wasn't just adapting to the collective's weapons, they were rewriting the rules of warfare itself. We have confirmation, Sarah reported from Antarctica. The collective is pulling back their forward fleets. They're realizing that every time they attack, they're just giving us more technology to adapt and improve upon. But the war was far from over. As humanity demonstrated their unprecedented ability to innovate and adapt, the collective was learning a harsh truth. They hadn't just awakened a sleeping giant. They had challenged a species that thrived on overcoming impossible odds. The next phase would show them exactly what that meant. In the Grand Assembly Hall of the Collective Council, the atmosphere was tense. Representatives from 1,000-member species gathered to discuss the mounting crisis. The massive chamber, usually a symbol of unity and power, now echoed with whispered doubts and growing fear. Supreme Counselor Vexthar, his crystalline form dimmed with stress, addressed the assembly. The human conflict has cost us more ships in 6 months than we've lost in the past century. But we cannot show weakness. Cannot show weakness. The interruption came from Ambassador Naira of the Sylphid Confederation, her luminescent wings pulsing with anger. My people have lost 3 colony worlds to human strikes. Not conquered, simply devastated and abandoned. They're not even trying to take territory. They're showing us how vulnerable we are. That was exactly humanity's strategy. In her office beneath Mount Fuji, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, Earth's chief synapsichologist, watched the intercepted council feed with satisfaction. The fractures are spreading, she reported to Admiral Chen. Phase 4 is working perfectly. Humanity had launched no major offensives, no attempts at conquest. Instead, they had deployed surgical strikes across collective space, each one carefully chosen for maximum psychological impact. Shipyards reduced to atomic dust. Military academies found empty overnight. Their entire populations transported to human space. Entire fleets vanishing into artificial black holes, only to reappear decades later in their own systems, their crews having experienced mere minutes. We're not trying to defeat their military, Admiral Chen explained to Earth's Defense Council. We're breaking their confidence. Every species in the collective joined because they believed it was invincible. We're showing them it's not. The effects were spreading. On 1,000 worlds, people began asking dangerous questions. Why did they need the collective? If humans could strike anywhere at will, what protection did membership really offer? In the council chamber, the mechanical consensus, a machine civilization that had joined the collective millennia ago, made an unprecedented announcement. We are withdrawing from all military operations against Earth, their representative stated. Our analysis shows a 98.3% probability that continued conflict will lead to technological breakthroughs we cannot control. They weren't alone. The Gardeners, masters of bioengineering, declared neutrality after analyzing recovered human biotechnology. The quantum architects, once proud of their mastery over spacetime, retreated to their core worlds after discovering humans had weaponized concepts they'd never even theorized. How are they doing this? Demanded Vexthar in a private council session. How can one species have mastered so many different fields of warfare? The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Lixa, a young collective anthropologist, had been studying human entertainment media. Look at their stories, she reported. For centuries, they've imagined every possible way they could be attacked or defeated. Then they developed countermeasures, not just technologically, but psychologically. In Antarctica, Dr. Martinez watched the collective's response to their latest weapon test, a device that temporarily accelerated evolution in a localized area, causing a week of advancement to occur in seconds. They're beginning to understand, she said. We're not just fighting with technology. We're fighting with imagination. The collective had never encountered a species that turned their fears into preparation, their nightmares into weapons, their stories into battle plans. Humanity hadn't just prepared for war. They had spent centuries preparing for every possible kind of war. Admiral Chen received word that 3 more member species had requested peace talks. Proceed with Phase 5, she ordered. It's time to show them what real change looks like. In the council chamber, Vexthar faced growing opposition. The collective's oldest members were now arguing for a complete restructuring of their society. The mighty empire that had stood for thousands of years was being transformed not by military defeat, but by the realization that their fundamental assumptions about power and civilization were wrong. Humanity had done what no species had ever accomplished. They had defeated the collective not by destroying it, but by making its members question everything they believed. The seeds of doubt had blossomed into a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. 1 year after the first battle, the Great Hall of Humanity's United Nations headquarters in Geneva hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from Earth sat alongside delegates from hundreds of former collective species. The massive chamber hummed with dozens of languages, translated seamlessly by quantum AI interfaces. Admiral Chen stood at the podium, her uniform exchanged for diplomatic attire. We gather here not to celebrate victory, she began, but to build something new. Humanity never wanted to rule the galaxy. We wanted to join it. As equals, not subjects. In the audience, former Supreme Counselor Vexthar, now representing his species as an equal among many, felt his crystalline form resonate with unexpected hope. The humans had proven themselves masters of war, yet here they were, extending hands in peace. Dr. Martinez presented the first proposal, opening Earth's scientific archives to all species. We've kept secrets for centuries because we had to, she explained. Now we can share knowledge openly. Not just technology, but our methods of innovation, our way of combining ideas from different fields. The mechanical consensus representatives literally buzzed with excitement at the possibilities. Your species' ability to imagine multiple potential futures and prepare for them. This could revolutionize our predictive algorithms. But humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't their technology. Dr. Tanaka unveiled the cornerstone of the new galactic society, the Confluence Protocol. The collective ruled through force, she explained. The confluence will thrive through cooperation. Each species brings unique strengths. Together, we can achieve things none of us could alone. The former collective members were learning something that humanity had discovered centuries ago. True strength comes not from domination, but from diversity. The Sylphid's mastery of light, combined with human quantum physics, created new forms of communication. The Gardeners' bioengineering, merged with Earth's medical science, promised to eliminate disease across the galaxy. We spent centuries preparing for war, Admiral Chen told the assembly. But we spent just as long dreaming of peace. Every story we told about aliens wasn't just about conflict. It was about the possibility of friendship, of learning from each other. In Antarctica, now transformed into an interspecies research center, Dr. Martins worked alongside scientists from a dozen worlds. Humans aren't special because we're stronger or smarter, she explained to a young collective researcher. We're special because we never stopped asking what if, and then preparing for the answer. The galaxy was transforming. The rigid hierarchy of the collective gave way to a network of cooperative relationships. Species that had once competed for resources now shared them, finding that collaboration yielded greater rewards than conquest. A year and a half after first contact, humanity launched its first diplomatic mission to the far reaches of known space. The ship carried no weapons. Instead, it carried scientists, artists, and dreamers from Earth, and 24 other species. We're not just exploring space anymore, Captain James Chen told his diverse crew as they prepared to depart. We're exploring possibilities. In Geneva, Admiral Chen watched the ship depart on the quantum feed. Beside her, Nixis, the same observer who had first discovered humanity's true nature, spoke softly. You could have destroyed us, you know. Instead, you chose to change us. Destruction is easy, Chen replied. Change, real change. That's the greatest challenge any species can face. Humans learned that lesson through centuries of our own history. Now we can help others learn it too. The age of the collective was over. The age of the confluence had begun. And humanity, the species that had prepared for every possible future, was helping to build one that none of them had imagined. A future where strength came not from power over others, but from what all species could achieve together. As the diplomatic ship vanished into quantum space, it carried with it humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. Not their weapons or their technology, but their ability to imagine a better future and work to make it real. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, illuminating the dawn of a new era in galactic history.